It's big plays.
What a play!
Bad days.
I bet this guy's into the woods $100.
And parlays.
That's the one. Parlay.
Big plays, bad days, and parlays on Hurrdat Sports.
Care to place a wager?
Saxophones are on, and we have liftoff. Big plays, bad days, and parlays. Back with you, Andrew Rogers, Troy Aldridge, and James Merrig. Boys, thank goodness the 3 o'clock NFL slate was good to me. It saved my weekend. Anybody else experience some saving grace this weekend?
The only thing that saved my weekend was the Phillies coming out on top.
Yeah?
I blame myself for Goldie and Nato playing so bad because I was hammering them both games. So,
Flam?
Yeah, this is my first weekend of pretty much all L's. The
Whoa!
Bryce Harper home run.
Whoa!
Bryce Harper home run. Bought my ticket to watch him lose. But other than that,
Let me hold on. Let me stretch here because I think I remember in previous shows that weekends were always poor for me, and I was taking a lot of heat for it. And now all of a sudden the tables have turned. How do you guys feel now?
That's what you want to call it. I'm not really sure that's what happened. I think that you finally get to sit at the table with us.
I don't know. I think you got demoted to the kids' table.
Oh, okay. Hey,
so you're still
I did that enough during Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, you know, all I do is fill my plate with mac and cheese, so that's why I get
Kraft.
Yeah, exactly. Spiral noodles though have to be spirals. Ugh, way better than the actual Kraft mac and cheese.
Incorrect.
Spiral noodles are the best ones. Best mac and cheese. I will die on that hill. Best mac and cheese.
I'd take the Scooby-Doo ones over spiral.
I would agree.
No
100%.
way. This, like, anything that is shaped like a character never tastes like it's actual pasta. It just doesn't taste. It tastes like mush in your mouth.
Better than spiral.
No, no shot. No shot. I eat the spiral noodles all the time. Like, you know, you cook like a nice steak on the grill. You get some asparagus, you sear it up, and then, of course, you get the boxed spiral mac and cheese to pair. All three of those things. Ooh, baby. Gets me going on the inside.
I'm glad you're finally sitting at the table with us, man.
Hey,
How's it feel? How's it feel to get a W?
Hey,
What's it feel to see a green?
All I know is I got this and you got this. That's all I know. All I know.
I don't know.
W and an L.
Who
W
won?
and an L. If you actually flip that hat upside down, it looks like an L.
Oh.
So you're just wearing the L.
Where's your guys' Cardinal gear, man?
Stop. Don't be a jerk.
Where's it at?
Don't be a jerk.
It's hockey season.
Hey.
The game got delayed, so it hasn't even started yet because of rain.
Here we go. Here. I'm going to get to you, Troy, in a sec. I'll get to you. But
what hit for you?
For me, it was at the 3 o'clock slate. It was Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. It was Jeff Wilson rushing touchdown and Cooper Kupp receiving. So they were all favorites. That's how bad of the previous 3 weeks and how it went for me that I went with all favorites, no plus money there. I'm like, I need something.
Hey, usually when you do that, it doesn't hit. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. I was at the point though where I'm like, I can't keep losing. I just can't. And I was, frankly, look, I'm still down. I'm not in plus money by any means. I'm still a degenerate. I will always make massive parlays and try to take the sports books money in every way I can in big bulks instead of small chunks. So it saved my weekend, but I was still probably down for the weekend. I probably was down like $40 or $50 still. But it's one of those things like we talked about last week. You know, you end up just placing more and more as the weekend goes on because early on as like Thursday, Friday start to creep up. Once those become L's, now you're just in defense mode. You're just trying to get anything back at that point. But no, so like I said, got the win, and that win had me like,
Sí, señor! Sí, señor! Sí, señor!
Dicker the kicker. That calls from the Philadelphia, Arizona broadcast. What a great Spanish broadcast call that is, and it just fit perfectly because Jalen Hurts was one of my legs there. So I had to add that in there. Just a little sí, señor. Which, oddly enough, is really funny because we uploaded that sound effect to our system, and the platform that we use removed it because it was in Spanish, we think, and I don't know if it had like some weird algorithm and thought we were playing something offensive by having Si Senor in there, so we had to change the title of it to Spanish Broadcast Call.
Si, senor! Si, senor!
Wow.
Si, senor!
Si, senor! As much relief as that brought me, though, I was an unhappy camper on Friday and Saturday, as was James. The Cardinals eliminated from the playoffs by a team that leads off with a guy who strikes out nearly as much as his batting average equates to. By a team who brings in Zach Eflin in the 9th inning. By a team whose first baseman stiffed me of an autograph in spring training. Meanwhile, Ryan Helsley threw less strikes than a professional bowler when he came in. So here to pay tribute to the Cardinals and the Mets, right? Here are the Trumpeteers from Citi Field. Okay. We don't need to go any further. we don't need to hear the entire taps. But that's how I felt after the Cardinals entered Game 2 and just got completely destroyed by Bryce Harper's 400-foot dong, however far that went.
I was there, and Troy, Emily, Tim to my left, all three in Phillies gear. Then another couple comes and sits next to me in Phillies gear. So I'm sandwiched between 6 Phillies fans.
Did you purposely pick that section, Troy, or did it just happen to be full of Phillies?
Complete coincidence, yeah.
Were you guys on the third base line or the first base line?
Third, right next to Big Mac Land.
Oh, well, then that wouldn't matter. I thought you guys may have been behind the dugout.
We were in foul territory, though.
Okay. Wow. That's crazy. Also, it was very crazy watching the Cardinals cough up that 9th inning lead, which, if I can remember the stat correctly, it was like 93-0 entering the 9th inning. And that was not just postseason, right?
I believe. I think that was up 2 runs going into the 9th. They were 93-0.
All time, yes. Right?
All time.
Correct.
Postseason and regular season, all time, 93-0. We're not going to get into the details of the loss, but just poor management down the stretch. Ollie Marmol had an awesome year, and I think he's a fantastic manager, but I think his rookie side started to come out there a little bit in Game 1. Cardinals just didn't have enough in Game 2. The pitching for the Phillies, starting pitching at least, has been phenomenal all season long, and they've had a great run up until the playoffs. So rightfully so. They're at a point right now where they're up 1 game in their series. And did they play earlier today? Do they play tonight? This, of course, being taped on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 3:30.
Oh, yeah, it got delayed. That's right.
And it got rained out. They were saying like a 6:30, 7 o'clock start is what they were aiming for.
So Phillies have a chance to go up 2-0 when you hear this tomorrow. It could be 1-1, but we don't need to get into all of those considerations. So we'll continue to move forward. But the NLDS and ALDS are underway. The Astros had a crazy, absolutely crazy finish, and we'll talk about that here in a few moments. The Guardians put up a fight against the Yankees, but only were able to score 1 run in that game. And then, of course, the Dodgers. That lineup just looks unbelievable. The Padres, great baseball team. Playing great baseball right now. Joe Musgrove's ears are oiled up just like the back of Deshaun Watson a lot during the offseason.
Good one.
But, yeah, thanks. But, yeah, just some great baseball right now. I can't remember what our postseason brackets look like, but all I do know is I went 0 for 4 in the wild card round.
I was going to say, of course,
I got one right.
I also got one right.
Now, we were going to get to this a little bit later, but let's talk about it now. What's the punishment? You know, like what am I trying to avoid? I know we had talked about on later shows figuring something out. Should we do something to where, like, on air, whoever loses has to wear something, like, completely outrageous? Like, is that something that we should do as a punishment? Go to Goodwill and get, like, a Goodwill grab bag, and, like, the other two pick out what they have to wear from Goodwill, and they have to wear it for a show? Like, do you guys like that idea?
I don't necessarily want to have to go to Goodwill if I lose.
No, that's the whole point of a punishment, though. You don't want to do something, or you don't get to do something that you want to do.
That's up to you guys, honestly.
What do you think, James?
I'm not going to lose.
You like that punishment?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
All right, so here's the punishment.
It's better than like eating something.
Ooh, that could be a good one too. No, we settle on Goodwill grab bag. This is what's going to happen. So whoever loses the next show,
Each person picks one like article of clothing.
Correct, but I'm thinking that the people that win get to pick two things, right? So like a hat of some sort, a top of some sort, some shorts or a skirt, whatever. Like you pick whatever you want to wear, and then maybe we just do three things. So you guys each pick one. Say I lose because I'm projected to lose right now. James and Troy each pick one thing, and then you guys combine for what I have to wear on my head. That's what we're doing.
Right.
FaceTime, you purchase the items, you wear it on the next show. Well, when postseason's over. That's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. Lock it in. Lock it in. Okay, let's move forward. Rest in peace to the Cardinals. Rest in peace to all the other teams that lost their chances of a World Series this year. And also rest in peace to the videographer that got assaulted by a former Green Bay Packer.
Frustration from Adams, and whoa. Can't have that as Adams leaves the field, the frustrations.
That is just despicable. Dude. Disgusting.
Yeah.
How can you be a fan of that guy? What a disgrace to the league.
I love that man so much. Good God. A misdemeanor?
Let's
assault charge.
Let's break down the actual video for those that didn't miss it. Davante Adams leaving the field, obviously upset. That ball was his direction toward the end of the football game. Also, he was upset that he was called out of bounds. So it just didn't work out. They blew the lead. Adams was pissed. He's leaving the field, and he shoves a videographer that for some reason decided to walk right in front of him. Like, players are exiting into the tunnel at this point, yet you're trying to cut him off in traffic while he has the green light. You get shoved. Here's my thing, though. The videographer gets shoved to the ground, right? Normal shove, holds on to his pole. That pole didn't impale him. He held it up in front of his body. He fell back, was able to, like, look and move his head around to be like, what did I just hit? And somebody helped him up. A security guard, an usher, I don't know who. Somebody helped him to his feet. So, no injuries. This guy has zero injuries. And
he looked very okay.
It's fairly obvious that he has zero injury, yet he's going to try to take as much money from Davante Adams.
Dude, went to the hospital, filed a police report, everything, and then he's getting charged for the misdemeanor assault.
Troy?
I'm disgusted.
I mean, I heard earlier, I was watching some other stuff, that there's actually like protocols for the media staff that they're supposed to be out of the way of the tunnels.
Oh, yeah. When
the players are coming off the field. So he was definitely in a spot he wasn't supposed to be in.
So you would think they would be liable then if they're breaking protocol?
Maybe. I don't know. Hey, you just got to know, in his position, man, everybody wants a piece of that bag, dude. Everybody wants some, they're looking for you to mess up.
What if Davante Adams decided to try to sidestep him, right? Just do a nice little jab move. And say he tore his ACL.
That's what I was just going to say.
Like, just say he gets hurt because he tries to miss the guy running in front of him. Would people be now attacking the videographer? Probably on social media. But what happens to the videographer at this point? Nothing. because he doesn't have the status of Davante Adams. So, in hindsight, do I blame Davante Adams? No. Do I blame the videographer? I kind of do. And, to me, because of his intentions, because he purposely walked in front of Adams, because he purposely went to the hospital with a very limited injury, this guy screams the type of guy that eats Kraft mac and cheese and not the spiral noodles.
Please.
Come on, man.
He's one of you guys. One of you.
Oh, yeah.
He's a spiral guy.
You would have done the same thing. You would have done the same thing if he pushed you.
He's more like a Velveeta guy.
Your parents would have been calling you. Go file a police report.
I like Velveeta.
As much as Kraft?
Velveeta? Oh, my God. I prefer Velveeta.
Oh, my God.
What are you talking about?
Why wouldn't you have just said that in the first place, then? That's what we were talking about, was our preferred mac and cheese.
No, I said I like the spiral noodles. But I love Velveeta. Who doesn't like Velveeta? You don't like Velveeta? You prefer the powder?
Kraft's better. I'm riding that boat like it's the Titanic.
Yeah, and we all know how that trip sailed.
Well,
yeah,
for a little bit.
Hey, they made a lot of money.
Who, Kraft?
Yeah, they sponsored the Titanic movie.
Oh, man. Okay, Mattress Mac, he laid, what was it, $10 million on the Astros to win $75 million. What it would be like to be able to lay that type of money on them multiple years. Year in and year out, this is what Mattress Mac does with his Houston Astros, which didn't look good until the trash can was banged.
Alvarez launches deep right field, and this one is gone, and the Astros walk them off in game one. Yordan Alvarez, are you kidding me?
What an insane AB. Down 3.
Those last 2 innings were crazy.
Down 3.
What was that stat that was like the 4th or 7th time ever that a team has come back and hit a walk-off from down multiple runs in the 9th or something in the playoffs? It was like the 7th time ever that's ever happened, and people were commenting like, there's no way that's real.
It's unbelievable.
Like, dude, it's never happened.
It's unbelievable. What a home run that was, with Seattle carrying all the momentum in that game. All the momentum. And then Robbie Ray comes in and just serves up a fastball right down the middle. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's crazy watching teams choke in the 9th inning.
Stop.
Crazy.
Can we take him off the screen?
I'm sure we can get him out of here.
Verlander got rocked too, though. I shouldn't just say Robbie Ray in this instance. Verlander did not look okay on the mound. He is a much better pitcher, and we've seen that from him this season, and Seattle was getting the better of him. If Seattle can get the better of him, wait till he meets the Yankees or the Dodgers later on if the Astros do move forward.
Credit to Seattle, too, for coming out with sticking to that game plan, and coming out swinging the bat.
You're telling me. That was insane to watch. That entire game was just absolutely bonkers. And it just seemed like Seattle was unstoppable until that 9th inning. Pretty crazy. Now, the fall, though, like the season, the fall is the best season for sports by far. You have the NFL going on, college football going on, MLB postseason, NBA tipping off in less than a week. Can it get any better than this?
Welcome to opening night of the 2022-23 NHL season.
Jump the gun there.
What's better than this?
Let's go.
Play that,
dude, that was the goofiest thing.
Play that one more time.
Welcome to opening night of the 2022-23 NHL season. What's better than this?
That's just cringeworthy.
Goofiest thing I've ever seen, and I was like, from hockey? Can you believe that was just said?
Hey, welcome to the land of ice and honey. This is 2 very good hockey teams, and we're happy that you joined us today. It sounded like backyard hockey or something.
If you all look under your seats now, you'll notice a gift. And just like, we're just giving stuff away.
Good old Mark.
Good old Mark. Chris Rooney, I'm really sorry, man. Like, I'm really sorry. That was that was just hard to watch. Was a teleprompter rolling? Did the NHL have him memorize that line before the start of the game? I don't know. Was he looking down at his hand at all for the cliff notes? That was
he
just
definitely had to memorize that.
Man, that's just like I said, cringeworthy. But like you said, James, hockey is back. I didn't include that in the sentence because I was alluding to that.
I
clip.
Realized after. Yeah, you blew it.
You blew it. But hockey is where we thrive. This is where big plays, bad days, and parlays thrives, is hockey season. And we found a loophole into how to win money. And it took us, maybe a third of last season to really figure this out, betting points instead of anything else.
Oh, it's so fun. It makes, like, you don't even have to watch every game. Like, we got addicted to following all the goals just on the ESPN app. And then waiting
there on Bleacher
for the two assists to pop up. There's
like 7 games going on, and you're like, oh my God, goal in the Panthers game.
And you scroll down really fast.
Goal in the Avs game, yeah.
And you see Barkov pop up, and you're like, dude, this could be Huberdeau's first assist. And you're waiting anxiously for the 2 assists to pop up. Now
it doesn't happen, and then they change it.
Yeah, I was going to say ESPN sucks sometimes when it comes to them marking an assist.
Sucks sometimes.
I don't ever check that. Oh,
they pay you out like it hit, and then they change the point and they take your money back out of your account.
That's where you cash out immediately. You have to. That's why it really sucks for us that don't live in a sports betting state, because you just can't pull that money out yet.
What DraftKings does to us.
Yes, exactly. They know that we live in Missouri. They know that. Because the address under our name is in Missouri, and they know we drive to the border, so they take advantage of us. They just do. They give us false hope, a lot of false hope. I thought you meant you checked the scoring on DraftKings over ESPN.
Hell no.
I know what you're saying now. Yeah. So hockey's where we thrive. Speaking of thriving, there's been some crazy, absolutely crazy 15-leg parlays placed lately, and I'm all for it. And this is just across the country, not with us. Now, I don't know if anybody placed a 15-leg parlay in this group, and we can obviously get to that. But as of week 6, I am jumping on the train. I am joining Team Crazy Legs.
All right, so here's the deal. I've been betting for years, and I've never had anything come close to something like this. So I met this girl about a week ago, and she knows absolutely nothing about betting, parlays, NFL, anything like that. So I sat her down, explained to her what a parlay was and how to make it. She selected 15 NFL games on Sunday morning, and she is currently 14 for 14 with 1 game to go. Patty Mahomes, Chiefs money line. Current cash out is $3,100. Cash out or let it ride?
Let it ride.
Let's go. One time, Patty. One time.
Hey, I'm on my way home this weekend. Guess who's picking my parlay? My niece. My 1-year-old niece. She's picking every game.
Just like drooling on the phone.
I'm just going to ask her, and I'll just base it off of the noises that she makes. I'll tell her 2 teams, and then I'll see what she responds with. She's actually a very good talker, so I'm looking forward to seeing what pick she has for me. But I'm building a 15-leg parlay, and when it hits, I'll put some in her future.
No, you won't.
Her future college fund. Oh, I will.
Yeah, right.
I will put some in there. If it pays out like $40,000, I'll put some in.
14, 15 legs. You're not even trying to win at that point.
What do you mean?
Oh, God.
How do other people do it?
Oh, well, like I said, that's what? A couple? You said everybody. How many have you seen? 2?
Hit? Just this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the other one, the guy should have cashed out.
Yeah, the other one, the guy could have won $20K.
Right.
And he should have won $20K. But he foregoed his money.
Yes.
Hey, good luck, man. I hope it goes well.
Yeah. I hope it does, too. She's building it.
I hope it does, too.
You don't even have to put... Nice one, James. You don't even have to put a lot of money down on these things, though. All you have to do is put $5 down and just see what happens.
Some people do like a penny and win like
couple K
or something.
Yeah, exactly. So let's craft some good stuff up now. We're heading into another weekend, and we're going to get back on track. Obviously, all down. At least I've been down over the course of 3.5 weeks. James and Troy are probably still in the green as far as I would know. So follow along with these picks because so far so good since the show has launched. And, consistently, this is how we kind of look at this stage of the game. Just throughout the year, everybody has their highs and lows, and that's where you jump on all these picks and you figure out which one's on their highs. Right now it's James and Troy, but any day now could be my chance to really turn the tide. Is it this week? Let's find out. Thursday Night Football is one of the worst Thursday Night Football games. It's Bears Commanders. Just like last week between the Colts and Broncos, which I was told in that game there was a profit boost for a touchdown. It was minus 20,000 to plus 100. Anytime touchdown from anything. And it didn't hit. It didn't hit.
Dude, we have to start fading that.
So this is for future. For those that want to follow along at Herd at Sports, for future, I'm going to make a TikTok. I've been taking screenshots of things, and I've been dating it back. And I am going to take 20 posts from DraftKings Boost, and I want to find out if, and I really mean this, if they're over 25%. Because I would doubt that they are. Anytime you see a boost, fade it.
Sunday night, they boosted Lamar to have 2 passing touchdowns, and he had 1.
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire to get into the end zone.
Yep. The week before that, they had Cooper Kupp to score anytime boosted. First time all season. It's amazing. Only game.
First game for the Astros Mariners. They had under no runs in the first inning boosted.
They have that today in the Dodgers-Padres game, so that'll be interesting to see.
The only thing I've seen is no touchdown scored on the first drive. That I think I've seen twice hit for DraftKings. All season. I've seen it twice. We are on to week 6 now. And if we can remember these things and not bet it, you shouldn't bet it either. You should never take a boosted odds for somebody to score a touchdown. I think Diggs ended up scoring this weekend when they boosted his odds, but that's it.
I remember doing it on Jalen Hurts last year. He was boosted to plus 100 to rush one in, and I threw 50 on it because it was like such a lock. And then nothing, dude.
Always fade. Always fade. Hey, guys, we have a mystery guest in the waiting room. Mystery guest. Any ideas who our guest on the show is going to be today? You guys want to take some?
I have a guess.
I do.
Okay, let's hear it. Troy, who do you think is going to be our mystery guest?
Torelli Beats.
James, who do you think is going to be?
Hammer drunk.
Actually, it is the guy that made that big 15-leg parlay.
No way.
He's coming onto the show. No, it is Torelli Beats. Bring him in. Bring him in. What up,
Torelli Beats?
Let's go.
What's up, dude?
How's it going, boys?
What jersey is
what
that?
Up?
Mahomes.
Oh, it is? I thought it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he scored this weekend after they boosted his odds.
James didn't need him to score, so that's good.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made me like $600.
Guys, Bailey's lighting, too, looks like he's in a sauna. It's like on a tanning bed.
Yeah.
Look at that gold lighting on his screen.
Oh,
it's all that money shimmering in the background.
By the way, I'm definitely taking a boosted odds touchdown.
Oh, 100%. Goodness. Leave it to Bailey. Leave it to Bailey to fall into the trap of DraftKings. Bailey on the show to give us his best plays of the weekend. Bailey, let's hear it.
All right. Well, James is going to love this one. So I got Tennessee money line over Bama. Suck it.
Whoa.
I got Nebraska plus 14 against Purdue.
That's a good pick.
And then I have Washington Commanders to win by 1 to 6 points. And then I also have Terry McLaurin over 3.5 catches.
There it is. Bailey's best plays.
Plus 4,900.
4,900. We love to
What's
see
that
it.
Tennessee money line?
Plus 280.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Okay.
Like 48 points a game for Tennessee, right?
Well, and Bryce Young may not play. So that's a big thing.
True.
If he doesn't play, I'm hammering Tennessee.
Oh, he's playing.
Oh, he may not.
Oh, don't you worry.
Bailey's best plays. Look at that. What a guy. See ya.
Oh.
See ya. Kmart Internet.
Kick everybody off like that. That's awesome.
Man.
Anytime somebody says something stupid, just do that.
Just take him off the screen. Now, Bailey's best plays. I don't hate it. I think it's a parlay that could hit, right? If Bryce Young doesn't play, Tennessee wins that game. The way Bama's been playing, I easily would pick it Tennessee in that game.
Oh, dude, Milroe looked lost.
Alabama just looked lost. Like the whole team looked lost.
Milroe fumbled the ball 4 times, also threw a pick.
That's the same stat line Trevor Lawrence had.
Penalties have been a huge issue for us this year, too. We've had double digits like 3 or 4 of the games.
It's funny. That's all good stuff. So there you have it. Tennessee money line, Nebraska plus 14, which I really like. I'll talk more on that when we hit some college football. And the reason that we brought Bailey in at this time was because he mentioned Thursday Night Football. So let's get right into it. He likes the Commanders to win the game. I don't know if I would choose anybody to win this game. When I'm building my parlay, I would love to know what you guys have to say. Let's go.
Terry McLaurin is absolutely scoring. I also think David Montgomery finds the end zone. And I kind of wanted your guys' thoughts on this too. What do you guys think about Brian Robinson? Like, I feel like his props could be kind of low. And I feel like he could potentially get a little bit more work than he did last week. If he got any. Did he get any touches last week?
Yeah,
a few?
He ran the ball 9 times for 22 yards, very ineffectively. But Antonio Gibson also didn't run as much. He was outtouched by Brian Robinson.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The way I look at it a little bit is Ron Rivera has no control over that team. The way he came out and said that Carson Wentz is the issue for the Commanders is absolutely ridiculous as a head coach to throw your own player, your own quarterback under the bus because you can't lead this team to a win. You cannot tell me that Carson Wentz isn't good enough to win a football game. Just years ago, he seemed to be overly successful with the Philadelphia Eagles, which led them to win a Super Bowl that year. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is the same guy that he was back in whatever that was, 2017
is my guess.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe it was 2018. I don't know. Well, it's a conversation for a different day. But you can't find anything to work with this team. So don't put blame on the quarterback. That's just my whole thing with him. Antonio Gibson ran the ball 3 times for 6 yards. 3 times for 6 yards. Brian Robinson, 9 times for 22 yards. You can't run the ball. So why are you blaming your quarterback for having to do too much now because your team can't run the football?
It's insane. And he's such a defensive-minded coach, too, that he shouldn't even be talking about offensive players because there's no way he pays any attention to what Carson Wentz does on a daily basis.
Bothers me.
The head coach should always take the blame. That's
also true.
Things like that really bother me. I tend not to get worked up by conversations like that, but when you play on a bad football team and now you start to blame your players, you coach a bad football team, I should say, not play, but now you start to blame your players. I want you out of there as fast as possible. GTFO. See ya.
Not the best for morale.
No, you lost your locker room. By saying that, you lost your locker room. You cannot tell me that Carson Wentz is feeling good about himself coming into Thursday Night Football this week now, knowing that his coach cares nothing about him. And then he goes on to sugarcoat his answer like, we believe in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was our guy when we came into the offseason. No, you just talked about how Carson Wentz was the problem. So how do you believe in him?
Yeah, you're trying to cover it up now because he knew he said something stupid.
Which is why I think the Bears could win this football game. That's where I don't know if I love Bailey's Washington pick. I know I'm a Bears fan, but I tend to cheer against the Bears whenever it comes to betting, and nor do I really ever bet the Bears' money line in any case. But them being dogs in this game, why not? Why not the Bears this week after the fight they put up against the Vikings? Why not Montgomery catching 3 balls like he has in numerous weeks already this season? I like that at -120. Why not the over? That's probably what I'm going to stick with. People think the under is going to hit in this game. I actually think the over will hit based on how the Bears played last week and how the Commanders have played in weeks before. Neither defense is anything to brag about. Wentz, I think, throws for over 219 passing yards. I think Fields rushes for 40-plus yards. That's a pretty safe play. And when you come down to it, that's only plus 625, but we know Thursday Night Football hasn't been forgiving. I'm going to take the low-end odds here for a parlay and put $20 on 625 to win 145.
I like it.
I didn't build mine on DraftKings, so I don't know the odds on it, but I just know I can't bring myself to do more than a single touchdown in this game. I don't hate the over at all. Like I could see it happening. I don't want to risk it at all. I like Montgomery to get in almost for sure. He was playing really well last week coming off the injury. I like him to score in a parlay with his yards, 74.5. I think they can run. They're going to be running the ball a lot. I think Washington could be playing from down. Diami Brown coming on the scene, nowhere to be found last year, and then just blew up last week. He was catching those long balls, so I like him just have 34.5 yards. That could just be one catch for him. And then I like J.D. McKissick, 4+ catches, and then a Carson Wentz pick.
Hey, what golf is happening this week?
Oh, you know the Zozo Championship.
Dotson still out?
Dotson is out. He will not play this week.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I was just curious.
Zozo Championship.
The Zozo?
It's in Japan, yeah.
Well,
Matsuyama eats it. Your boy, Matsuyama.
Yeah, my boy. Only on day one. Bet him day one leader. He's going to shoot 9 under in day one. He's going to go off.
I'm on him. I'm on him, Cam Young, and Cameron Champ. Cameron Champ just for the day one leader. It's a course. It's the most correlated course to long ball to victory on the whole tour. So Cameron Champ's the longest hitter on tour. So plus 5,000's worth of $5.
That event, $250. Of course, starts on Thursday, runs through Sunday. James had somewhat of a heartbreak though last week with one of his favorite options, Patrick Cantley.
Dude.
Can't believe you're still saluting that guy after last week.
Oh, the grave. My money. No, dude, that was so stupid. He was playing decent the whole time. I knew if he was 5-6 shots back the whole time, he was fine because it's such a birdie fest. Shoots -11 on Saturday to tie the lead, and then goes into Sunday. They both shoot 5 under the whole round, and hole 18. Me and Troy are walking in from outside. Tim's walking in from like using the bathroom or something, and he just saw somebody's ball go in the deep cut, and he was like, I don't know whose ball just went in there, but somebody's screwed. And we just see the other guy, Tom Kim, teeing up, and I was like, well,
it only leaves one other person.
I was like, there's just no way. Like Matthew Nismith was leading the box here. So yeah, it was Cantley, and he was hitting from under a bush, had to take an unplayable.
You're in the bushes.
He tried to hit it, didn't go anywhere. Had to take an unplayable, hit for 4, ended up like triple bogeying. And
he hit into the water. He hit his 4th shot into the water. And then James immediately changed it to the football game. We didn't even watch the rest of the hole.
And the worst part is I like Tom Kim, and I was happy for him that he won, but god damn, dude.
Not when your money's on the line.
Hit the water. Click.
Not when your money's on the line. I don't like anybody other than my guy.
On him from the start. He takes it to -24 and then does that to me on the 72nd hole.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Triple bogey.
You literally can't make it up. You can't.
That is brutal. That is brutal. Troy's Phillies also still playing baseball, even though they were delayed on Wednesday. I'm assuming do they have to play the game today?
Oh, it started. They're in the second inning right now.
So they started. So you probably have been building hit parlays with your team at least. I doubt you've touched any other teams. But as we move forward here, what do you think about your Phillies? Are you going to keep riding some hit parlays, or do you think you're going to avoid?
Yeah, I mean,
hit me one earlier.
Especially a division game. I mean, we've seen the Braves so many times. I feel like throughout the regular season, we were one of the teams that played decent against them. I think they had a little bit better record, but I think it was close to 500 during the regular season. But, I mean, dude, we're hitting. Our offense came alive, not in your series, obviously. You guys walked all our runs in, basically, besides a Bryce Harper home run. But came out with a game plan against Fried, hit well. If the offense can stay that hot with Wheeler and Nola, every time we got those two guys on the mound, we have a shot to win the game every time.
Hypothetically, build your parlay for, say, game 3 or game 4. It doesn't have to. You don't have to like physically predict it because who knows how teams will cycle.
The Braves haven't even announced who they're pitching yet. It could be Morton. It could be Strider.
Right.
You have no idea.
So think about that, though, but also who would be your locks? Like if you're building hit parlays for the rest of this series, help somebody out that may be listening to this show specifically for baseball and like props. Who do you like, at least in both lineups, that you can throw in any day and feel okay about?
I think in the Braves lineup, taking their top 3 hitters in Acuna, Swanson, and Riley are pretty safe every time, even against a guy like Nola and Wheeler. And the better pitcher will help their odds. I think I'm putting Bryce in all my bets. I have bet on him for a home run a couple times. We hit on him in the Phillies game, in the Phillies-Cardinals game. Schwarber hasn't done anything. I'm kind of staying away from him right now till he does something. Alec Bohm has been defensively and offensively playing insane. I can't believe it. Honestly, I did not expect that from him. Gene Segura, his unorthodox swing somehow finds the outfield once a game. It's crazy. And Nola strikeouts, like 5 or 6 strikeouts. The Braves tend to hit him kind of good. They did this season, but I like him at home. He's pitched in back-to-back clinching games and has been lights out and clutch.
Well, I'll tell you what, the golf ball this week chose Philadelphia, Houston, San Diego, and Cleveland to get out of their series, so that should make you feel good on one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, the golf ball chose all 4 losing teams last week. So I don't know if that's very good for you or not. So that's at least what I end up writing because I let the golf ball choose my bets, and because of how things unfolded, I have $10 down on Philly, Houston, San Diego, and Cleveland. Of course, the NHL is back underway, which is fantastic for us. I can't scream enough about how awesome it is to see hockey back on the television. And I'm sure you guys are going to go to plenty of games. But here's a little look at, because we like to bet point scorers, teams last year that excelled in the points column. You had, of course, the Panthers, the Avalanche, the Hurricanes, the Maple Leafs, the Wild, the Flames, the Lightning and Rangers, Blues, Oilers, Penguins, and Capitals. Those were teams that you could basically choose anybody on the top 2 lines and feel good about yourself. Troy loved throwing defensemen in a lot last year, more than I did. I can't speak for James, but I know that when it comes to building a lot of our point-scoring bets, we look at the teams that scored a lot of points last year, and then we also compared it to what teams gave up the most points, right? And those teams last year, the teams that gave up the most goals last year, this is a list of 10, 11, or 12 that gave up 260 goals or more. And from bottom up, it was the Sharks, Senators, Ducks, Kraken, Sabres, Blackhawks, Flyers, Blue Jackets, Devils, Coyotes, Red Wings, Canadiens. At least 4 of those teams, if I remember correctly, gave up over 300 goals last season. If you can find a matchup that pairs the Panthers against one of those teams or the Avalanche against, another team, those are the ones that I like the most because I can almost guarantee, I should say, that there will be a point scorer from the team that I bet for.
Sí, señor! Sí, señor! Sí, señor!
Yeah, the defenseman odds are always insane. Like me and James like to do like just a 4 parlay of defensemen. So that way you're not mixing them in with the forwards.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, actually. I have won a defenseman parlay for Friday night. Ooh. I was looking at that because I was like, the 4 games, I was like, man, they're not the greatest games. And I was like, I love defensemen from all of these teams.
Now, just to preface it before James kicks off here, when it comes to player prop bets like this, it is uncommon for the props to be up more than 2 days in advance. So when it comes to us telling you things on this show, we may not be giving you exact players from certain games. We may also be describing matchups and guys that we like in those matchups. And then you at home come to the decision if you like the odds that are presented for that guy, or if you're like, no, I'm going to go a different route, but I'm going to use the knowledge that the guy's presented for me. Sorry, James, go ahead.
Yeah, hockey's a lot like baseball in that sense where the props will go up the same day because the lineups come out and they play back-to-back and stuff like that. But so for that Friday night, first game I like for the Red Wings, I like Moritz Seider. He's coming off – did he win the Rookie of the Year?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He won Rookie of the Year. He's a beast. Second game, Lightning, Victor Hedman. Love that guy. He
always seems to get a point.
65 assists last year, something like that. It's ridiculous. They play 82 games, so it's almost an assist a game. Another guy I love, Adam Fox for the Rangers. He's almost guaranteed a power play point a game. If you just want to do that, and the odds are like plus 100. But no, I love him to get a point. And then the fourth guy, Brent Burns in his second game now for the Hurricanes. Playing against the Sharks. Playing against the Sharks, his old team.
Hey, I love bets like that. I think I did Joe Thornton last year, and that didn't hit. So as nice as it sounds to bet against his former team and be like, ooh, remember that guy? He's going to hit a home run or score a goal.
Yeah, Brent Burns going to be on the first D pairing there. So I think that's awesome, and the first power play unit. So for that Canes, you were mentioning them as one of the highest point scoring teams. So
sure were.
I like that a lot.
Sure were. And crazy if people weren't paying attention to the transactions that took place in the NHL over the course of the offseason. Some guys from great teams ended up on even better teams. Just one that is on the top of my mind is Vincent Trocheck and his move from Carolina to New York. I mean, the way that teams rebuilt using guys that we always like to put into parlays is even better for us this year. Because we know, well, this team with Kreider and Zibanejad are awesome, but now maybe add Trocheck to that mix, and now it's even better. His odds are better instead of when he was a second or third liner in Carolina.
And like Kachuk and Huberdeau swapping places.
Wild.
Flames and Panthers, and then Goodrow going to the Jackets now. There's a lot of crazy stuff happened.
Kachuk is always a guy that's nice to me. Always. If you ask any of these guys, they would know that he was always in one of my parlays along with Matt Duchene. Those two guys were my favorite two to bet on last year, and more often than not, they cashed. They were never the guys that effed me.
Usually good odds, too. Kachuk, for some reason, was always like the 180, 190 territory.
Crazy. He's paired up with, like you said, with Gaudreau. Like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So some good point scorers, a good point bet there for James. Troy, what do you like on the NHL front?
I didn't put any player props together. I did a goal one for the Avs Flames game on Thursday night, if you don't want to watch the boring ass football game.
Probably not a bad play.
I for the Flames, I started with, I think I could see Kadri getting a goal against us. I just see it happening. So I like Nazem, I like Huberto, and then Nate and Miko Rantanen.
There it is. I like the same.
Those odds are probably pretty good.
I'm sure they're awesome. This is like
They're
throwing together
4,000.
If I could make any comparison, it's like doing touchdown scorers and it's like doing home run bets in their respective sports. For me, Saturday, of course, player props not out, but I'm going to give you some matchups to watch out for. Pick a Florida point scorer against Buffalo. Pick a Washington point scorer against Montreal. Pick a Toronto point scorer against Ottawa. And pick a Blues point scorer against Columbus. I'd even be okay with choosing Gaudreau for Columbus if you wanted to go the other way around. Not too sold on Bjorkstrand just yet. I know he's a he's a talented player, but I'm going to wait and see how this season goes for him. Just like, he getting his feet wet a little bit last year.
Who does Seattle play?
The Kraken.
That's who Bjorkstrand. They got Bjorkstrand this offseason.
Apologize.
I don't know who they play.
Well,
while you're looking that up for that night, later that night, the Oilers play the Flames Saturday night at 9. I like a goal parlay for that game because I think that's going to be, even though the goalies are good, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Those offenses are insane. So I like Evander Kane, Zach Hyman, Elias Lindholm, and Mangiapane. Those are two, one on the first line on each team and one on the second line on each team.
Andrew, I bet on him a lot last year, and he was inconsistent for me. So I wish you all the best.
Nazem Kadri's the center on his line now.
Dirty.
So I like that a lot.
Yeah. So there you have it. Some really good matchups to keep in mind going into this weekend. If you want to follow the exact plays once they get closer, follow us on @HerdAtSports for all those plays. I'll get these guys to send me picks. We'll post those up, and we'll make sure that we have at least a few set aside each day so that to help you build your parlay for either that day in particular or for the rest of the weekend. On to college football. I am 19-15 on the year. It may not be the best record, but I did have a pretty bad second or third week that really cost me in my record column, but I bounced back betting single bets the week that Clemson completely destroyed my morale. And I got back to a 19-15 slate. Last week I was 3-5. It wasn't the best, but I still only came up $20 short in the college football single column. This week, I have a lot of picks that I like. We'll get into those a little bit. I'm not going to go into much detail because we have plenty of other things that we want to talk to you about, too. We heard about Nebraska plus 14 from Bailey's Best. I like that one a lot, too. Purdue's a very good squad, but to be 14-point favorites is kind of mind-blowing. This is a team that's turned over the ball 8 times in the last 3 weeks. The Purdue Boilermakers just don't scream a team that is about blowouts, and when you can be a 2-touchdown dog, the way Nebraska's been playing, by all means has it not been overly impressive. They have won back-to-back weeks, but keep in mind that was against Indiana and Rutgers, 2 of the lesser teams in the Big Ten. I still like Nebraska plus 14, though, because of the momentum they're coming in with, and I really think that Purdue doesn't really start to pull away in this game until the back end of the third quarter, early fourth quarter, and I think they're going to be content at the score that they're at that point. I could easily see it getting close to that 14 mark, and maybe 14, 13, 12, so you'll have to sweat it out a little bit, but I think Nebraska comes out on the better end there. I was with Bailey on that pick. Take it for as it is, though, because Bailey is a homer. He is from Nebraska. He's a diehard Nebraska fan, and he will always bet on that team. So when in doubt, maybe don't trust the Huskers out. I also like Toledo minus 6.5 over Kent State. I bet on Kent State once this year, and I'll never do it again. Ever. Ever. Can you tell me what Kent State's mascot is? It's 2 words.
Bearcats.
The Flying Crusaders.
They are the Golden Flashes. Imagine playing for the Golden Flashes. Imagine betting on the Golden Flashes.
I don't think Bearcats is 2 words.
I don't think so either. That's Northwest Missouri State. They also play in D2. But no, so they screwed me. They're dead to me. I'm going with Toledo, who I think their projection is to win by 12, and I can get them at 6.5 right now. I could get them at 7.5, but I will never take a team by over a touchdown for the reason of what if they win by a touchdown. Now, that screwed me once this week, that 0.5 at least, but that's just how I like to bet. I like to only bet under a touchdown in most cases. I like North Texas minus 5.5 against Louisiana Tech. It's a moment where Louisiana Tech won last week, so they are in a sell high spot for sports bettors. North Texas coming off a bye week. They have an awesome secondary, and that's all they need to shut down from Louisiana Tech, because the ground game for Tech is averaging 1.9 yards per attempt, and there's just no way North Texas doesn't win this game by a touchdown. You could even play it by a field goal if you wanted to buy points and be a little more conservative, but I like that too. TCU's another team, and this is a great game that we're about to watch on Saturday between TCU and Oklahoma State. So I'm going to read you some betting trends, and then I want you guys to choose what you think based off these betting trends. I know how I would go, but I'm interested to hear your take. TCU is 4-0-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. Oklahoma State is 13-3-1 against the spread in their last 17 games, and 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 games on the road. The total has gone over in 6 of TCU's last 9 games. The total has gone over in 5 of OSU's last 6 games. Max Duggan and Spencer Sanders have been spectacular for their teams this season. Both offenses are putting up roughly 46 points a game, and both defenses are giving up roughly 24 points a game. The Horned Frogs a little better statistically than the Cowboys. What would you do in this case? What would be the betting direction that you go hearing these stats and seeing how awesome this matchup is set up to be?
Oklahoma State in the over.
Okay. Troy?
Yeah, I mean, that's what came to my mind originally. Maybe is Oklahoma State the favorite? Or
they are the underdog.
I'd probably maybe take their spread if you want to be a little safer. I'd say Oklahoma State spread and the over.
So the way I look at it, you guys both said the over. I would have gone with TCU minus 3.5, just the way the Horned Frogs have been playing lately, and with them being the home team in this case. I think Max Duggan has solidified himself in Heisman conversation this year. I think TCU has solidified themselves as an early, maybe college football playoff pick. They could see themselves working their way into the college football playoff mix. I don't see them losing this game. However, I love the over. And you heard James and Troy both say the over too. That would be my pick this week. I think that's the safest play if you take the over. It's like 68.5. Don't let that scare you. The way that both offenses put up points, the way both defenses hold points, if you take the average of both, that adds up to over 68.5. So I like the over this week in that matchup. Let's talk about Tennessee and Alabama. James, add in some 2 cents to Bailey's Tennessee money line prediction.
I mean, it's literally all if Bryce Young plays. If he doesn't play, it's literally a coin toss. Bama's still talented enough on defense and even offense. Their guys could hold their own, I think it's a coin toss if Bryce Young doesn't play. I think if Bryce Young plays, though, I think -7 is just ridiculous. They were like -115 to lead at half and to win. And I was like, if Bryce Young plays, that is
Tennessee's offense, though, is outstanding.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding this year.
Alabama's defense they're not amazing either. They're better than a couple years, like the last couple years, but they're not incredible. Our secondary gives up some big plays. Really, our defensive front isn't that amazing. We're not getting to the quarterback as much. Will Anderson, he needs to step up and be his Heisman self. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it could definitely be an L if Bryce Young doesn't play.
I think it is an L if Bryce Young doesn't play, but I think the safe bet in this case is taking Tennessee's spread in the plus odds, just in case something miraculous happens.
7.5, right? Or
yeah,
7?
it's 7 or 7.5. I think that is just criminal for how good Tennessee is this year. And with how spotty we've seen Alabama play in recent weeks, that's why I think it's just you grab it now before it gets any better for Tennessee. Now, you could buy points and then take lesser odds if it called for it. But in this case, I would expect Bryce Young to play. I would take Tennessee's spread. If you want to get gambling and take Tennessee's money line now before it gets any better when Bryce Young gets ruled out, then kudos to you, because I think that is a W in your book for the Volunteers. Couple more games. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to me, too, plus 280 is not juicy enough for me to take against Alabama with not knowing if Bryce Young's going to play or not for money line. That's it.
That is nice if you add it into a parlay.
In a parlay, yeah, it's just something I wouldn't want to ruin my parlay, though, either.
That's true. You see, if you're a straight-up bettor, though, which I would recommend to straight-up bet the spread this week, but if you are a straight-up bettor and want to get a little crazy with it, plus 28 is much better than the $9 that I usually come home with. So,
oh yeah,
I would be all for that, and I may sprinkle a little bit there, and also on the spread to cover my butt if things don't go the way I think they will, and Tennessee still covers, but the money line misses. Now I'm only down like 50 cents at this point.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. A couple more games. Illinois plus 6.5 against Minnesota looks really disrespectful, but it isn't. I'm hearing reports that quarterback Tommy DeVito is unlikely to play. And I also think Brett Bielema has done a great job in press conferences to not allow Minnesota to know who they're preparing for. I don't think DeVito's ready to go. Mohamed Ibrahim is back. He's one of the best rushers in college football for Minnesota. Their defense has been outstanding. The offense leads the country in time of possession. But nobody is playing with more confidence right now than Illinois. Ever since that opener against Wyoming, the Illini have allowed fewer than 2 yards per carry on the ground. I think they can stop Ibrahim. I think their running back is just as good as Ibrahim. Chase Brown is solidifying himself in Heisman conversations. I still like plus 6.5, despite how it looks disrespectful. I think it's right on the nose when it comes to this matchup. And my last one, Kansas plus 9 against Oklahoma seems like a trap, but I still think Kansas covers this 9. The reason it seems like a trap is because Gabriel is expected to be back for Oklahoma, and Jalen Daniels is most likely out for Kansas. So the two quarterback poor situations, one good for Oklahoma, one bad for Kansas, but the backup for Kansas looked good. He looked really good when Daniels went out last week. And I think Jason Bean can keep KU competitive. 9 is a lot of points for a team that's struggling as much as Oklahoma is right now. I was hammering Bama there for a few moments. Oklahoma's been even worse. They lost to Kansas State at a rate that they shouldn't have lost that game. They lost the past 2 weeks in blowout fashion. Stay away. Stay away from Oklahoma at this stage of the game. I think Kansas plus 9 is still very good. NFL. Let's move on to Sunday. What do you guys like for the noon slate?
Running backs to start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris's hamstring injury. They said he got a limited practice in today, but they don't think he's going to play at all. Yeah, they said I saw a couple weeks, but he got a limited tag today. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Alvin Kamara will score his first rushing touchdown this week, and Mr. J.K. Dobbins will find the end zone against the Giants. I like those 3 guys for the noon slate for my RBs.
I'm on Aaron Jones to get into the end zone. He let me down last week. The whole Packers let me down last week.
Hey, you let me down too in a bit.
You can't blacklist Aaron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Wilson getting in the end zone again. Dude's been a monster playing the Falcons, right? That's insane. Fournette, Chubb, Saquon, Dalvin. Love all of them.
The Falcons are 5-0 against the spread for the first time in franchise history, so good for Atlanta. But anybody against the San Francisco 49ers, I think I'm taking the 49ers. I love the Niners this year. I love their defense. I don't think Mariota has any success against this team. I would take the 49ers spread in this matchup. Troy, what do you like? Do you like wide receivers too in this in this noon slate? Let's hear them.
Michael Pittman going to find the end zone. Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase has been kind of quiet. I think he finds pay dirt. And Chris Godwin boned me last week, and if he doesn't score this week, he'll be blacklisted as well. So
I'm starting Godwin in my fantasy lineup, so I hope you're right. James.
I'm also on Jefferson and Chase, and then I like Brandon Ayuk for the 49ers.
I love that pick. Love that pick. Mahomes, moving on to the 3 o'clock slate, Mahomes is a home underdog for the first time in his NFL career. And as an underdog in his career, he is 7-0-1 against the spread. What do you guys like in the 3 o'clock slate?
It's -2 Bills, right?
It is
-2.
3.
Something like that.
I thought it was 3. I could be wrong. I thought they were giving a field goal. It may be 2.5. We may be right in the middle. Go ahead.
3 o'clock slate for the running backs. I like Kenneth Walker, CMC, and Hilaire, or Elaire, whatever, to get in since he ruined my bets this past week. And then the wide receivers, I like Hollywood to get in again. Kyler seems to be looking for him. And then Cooper Kupp and Diggs almost seem like locks, but
they are 2.5, just 2, but in there real fast.
2.5.
I like that. I like 3 o'clock running backs, Cam Akers. I know last week was brutal by them, but my God, McVay was handing it to that guy every first down, and he was getting a yard or two. I understand that, but he was trying to make it a focal point that if he can't get going, the offense ain't going to get going. So I like Cam to score. I'm with James on Kenneth Walker and Edwards-Helaire.
Kenneth Walker seems like a very easy pick to get into the end zone this week because of how often Seattle scores, just for one. And 2, they stay close and relevant in games because Geno Smith has played out of his mind this year.
Beast.
And
he's finally got a good team. He's not on the Jets.
Well, plus he has led the Seahawks to the highest scoring offense over the last 2 weeks. I don't see how that slows down against the Arizona Cardinals, and they have been atrocious. I actually think Eno Benjamin gets into the end zone this week for the Cardinals. I don't think James Conner, this is my way too early prediction, I don't think James Conner is going to play. I think Kingsbury's finally realizing, like, hey, unless I sit him for at least a week, he's never going to be healthy or ever get close to getting healthy again. Darrell Williams is already doubtful for this matchup. I think it's Eno Benjamin time. He got into the end zone last week. I think he does again. You could also venture to say that Kyler Murray runs it in and not Eno Benjamin, but just like Troy said, just like the Cardinals, just like the Rams, they make the run game a focal point because they can't throw it every time. Defenses in the NFL are way too good and are way too quick to adjust, knowing when a team will just throw the football the entire game. I think he can find his way into the end zone. Plus, jumping right back to that Rams-Panthers game, over the past 20 years, 32 teams have fired their coach in season. Those teams have gone 15-17 straight up and 17-15 against the spread in the next game. The spread in this game is at 9.5. It's a lot of points for the Rams to cover, but based on those totals, I could see the Rams continuing to add to that trend and making this 17-16. Basically 50-50. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I like the Rams to cover that 9.5 too. The Panthers have been gross. And CMC's finally starting to eat in garbage time, which I like as a fantasy owner. But other than that, they've been bad. DJ Moore's been non-existent since week 1 or 2, whenever he scored. And then, literally. Yeah, Baker's gross.
That line opened at 10.5, so it already got taken down 1 because of the direction people are betting. Or maybe the odds makers are just like, 10.5 is way too much for the Rams based on how they've been playing. All those notes coming from the Action Network. Great work there by their team. A lot of writers and analysts out there think the Eagles could be the team to lose this week on Sunday Night Football, that they finally get delivered their first loss to Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. I don't see it. What do you guys think?
I also don't see it. I don't hate it, but I don't see it. Cowboys defense has been awesome. Eagles struggled last week against the Cardinals. I know that's not saying a ton because they've been eating all season. It's division game. They're a big rivalry. I don't expect there to be a ton of touchdowns. I don't want to risk it and pick 4 and try to get them all right. I went for Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, and Zeke because I still do think the Eagles win. So I think they score more touchdowns. For player props, I liked Hurts rushing yards, 39.5. A.J. Brown receiving yards, 59.5. Zeke rushing yards, 49.5. And then Tony Pollard to have 3 catches.
The Zeke rushing yards is the only thing that scares me there. I think.
Oh, it scares me so much every time I touch it.
The Jalen Hurts yards, are those pretty high odds? Because that seems like a very reasonable number for him.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if the props are up. I just went off what I think I would do.
Got it. Okay, well, there you have it. The props are not up, by the way, so no wonder why you didn't know.
Typical.
Troy, what do you like for Sunday night?
I tell you what, inside the red zone, Hurst he doesn't even really look to throw the football.
He's running that ball every time.
Unless it's AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, unless it's a 30+ yard touchdown, I mean he's just looking to run 100%. So him a rushing touchdown, I think it was like minus 180 last week.
It was 115 last week.
Which is, so I think that he finds the end zone again. I'm not touching their receivers until he starts throwing the ball more. I do like their yards. I think that Smith and Brown could both easily get 50+ yards, but I'm kind of staying away from the touchdowns now. And I'm between Elliott and Lamb. Like you said, division game, probably not a ton of touchdowns. They could be gross touchdowns. And when I say gross, I just mean not big name fantasy guys. Yeah, exactly. But I like a Hurts interception too. I think he's going to throw a pick. I think that Cowboys defense, I think that they're so good, especially their front 7, that they could be startable every week in fantasy, no matter who they're playing. I think they're that good.
One
Micah
touchdown a
Parsons
game is
awesome.
crazy.
I think they're that. I think they're the real deal. Like, I'm playing them against the Eagles this week for sure.
Now, to me, the Eagles are the most complete team in the NFL, and they are also the best team based on their record in the NFL this season. And I would actually venture to say it's debatable, but that the Eagles are the best team right now in the NFL. I just don't see them losing this week. I think they cover by 7, no doubt in my mind. I think you're on to something, Troy, when it comes to Jalen Hurts rushing it in, but taking the receiver props. I would take Brown's catches this week, and I would take Devontae Smith's yards just for the fact that he goes deeper down the field on more possessions than A.J. Brown does. I like those props a ton. Don't know if I'm going to ride any rushing props for the Cowboys. I think I am going to be a scared little cat and sit in my corner and maybe just avoid all things Cowboys in this game. But I also don't hate the Jalen Hurts pick. So maybe that's the only thing that I give to them. Maybe their defense scores, right? Maybe it's the Cowboys defense that finds their way to keep this game close. I don't know.
And it's so hard at this point to pick between Zeke and Pollard. I mean, it's a complete coin flip. Even when they're inside 1st and goal.
Man. Do we take the Broncos seriously on Monday Night Football this week? Can we take them seriously as a team anymore?
I'd like to think there'll be
hammer the Chargers.
5 touchdowns in this game.
4 of them from L.A.
The only person that worries me, the only person on that Broncos team that worries me is Surtain. He is awesome. Awesome. And I think he locks down Mike Williams if Keenan Allen doesn't play. And that hamstring injury is still lingering. If he sits out again, Mike Williams is covered to a T. The only people that I trust in that Chargers offense beside Mike Williams is Gerald Everett, believe it or not, and Austin Eckler. So those would be the 2 guys that I would look for on Monday night.
I also like Eckler. I do love Pat Surtain. He's awesome. Bama boy. He is a lockdown. I do still think if Keenan's out, I do still think he finds the end zone. He's just insane at those jump balls or like just boxing dudes out. Surtain's long, can get in there and break it up, but I still like Mike Williams to get in. And then, like I said, hopefully there's some touchdowns, and I like Gordon and Sutton. So we'll see.
So I saw that, and like I said, it's amazing that injuries pop up when guys start playing poorly. It's amazing to me.
Okay.
So like I didn't read much into it, but I saw that there was something going on with Wilson's shoulder. Like he tore something, or like, is that going to hinder his playing? Like, is he going to just play through it? Have they talked about it at all?
I haven't seen anything saying that he wasn't going to play.
Right. Like I know he's got
it. I heard about it a couple weeks ago as being a potential issue. So I don't think
so. It's something he can play through, which is probably going to be.
Yeah. Here's my thing, though. Here's my thing with that point of, injuries pop up when quarterbacks aren't playing well. Aaron Rodgers beat the Bears on one leg just a few years ago. Russell Wilson just sucks this year. How about we just go out and say it? It's not worth his money.
And like to go back to the baseball thing with the Cardinals closer Helsley, like if he would have got up there and got 3 outs, we wouldn't have been talking about finger numbness. Like, it's amazing when you walk and hit 5 guys that all of a sudden your finger's hurting. It's amazing.
Well, he did hurt it a couple of games before that. So that was an actual injury that people knew about going into this series because they didn't even know if Helsley was going to pitch at all. And he just told
Marmol. And you bring him in for a 5-out save.
Yeah, he told Marmol he was ready. And it's kind of hard to stop an all-star closer at that point. How do you say no to your all-star? Especially rookie manager, you're a player's coach. You're trying to keep your players happy, and he gave the Cardinals the best chance to win that game. But I think it takes, in that case, the manager's eyes to say, bro, it's just not working anymore. You have zero command of your fastball. You can only hit your off-speed pitch right now, which is wild to me that you can hit the strike zone on your changeup or curve. I don't remember what's in his arsenal.
He was over 30 pitches. How many times did he throw over 30 pitches all year?
A lot.
Really?
He was a big 2-out save guy for the Cardinals this year. But that's just because of the numbers that he put up all season. But you have to keep in mind a guy's injury. And in that case, it was obvious that he had zero control over his fastball. He couldn't even get it close to the strike zone. He was closer to hitting Bryce Harper in the grill than he was finding that box on the screen. So, yeah, when going back to football now, when it comes to injuries, it's one of two things. When you're playing bad, like Troy said, an injury pops up. This didn't just happen. And we've known about an injury with Russell. Football players play through injuries all the time. All the time. They always play with torn ACLs and things like that. Didn't OBJ win the Super Bowl on a torn ACL?
Oh, I don't think he played after he tore it, but
regardless, I just know so many football players that get injured and play through an injury. I know the shoulder is very important when it comes to the quarterback, but if he says he's ready to go every week and he can't perform, that's a Russell problem. I'm not blaming the injury at that point.
I agree.
So there you have it. We have no idea what's happening on Monday night other than let's choose the Chargers in all categories for this game. The Broncos have not scored more than 23 points this year, and that came in a loss to Las Vegas.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
How many field goals was that?
No clue. All I know is Russell has 4 touchdown passes this year. 4.
I think that was 2 touchdowns and then 3 field goals.
That would have been 2 touchdowns in that game. And yeah, that would add up to be the right number. But aside from that, he came out and frankly balled out in Seattle. It didn't go the way the Broncos planned, clock management wise, down the stretch. That was a very poor decision by their coaching staff, but he had 340 yards and a touchdown, should have still thrown better in that game. Like closer in the red zone. He should have been more effective is what I mean there. But outside of that, he has not eclipsed 300 yards. He hasn't eclipsed 275 passing yards in any of the rest of those 4 games. That's not Russell Wilson that we know. That's not the guy. That's not the same guy. He has just as good of weapons in Denver than that he did in Seattle. So there's no excuse.
He's got great weapons there.
Yeah. There is zero excuse. Excuse me. Let's build a parlay. Cue the music. James, let's hear your pick.
Evander Kane for the Oilers on Saturday night against the Flames. Anytime goal.
Yes.
Probably be around plus 150.
Yes. Troy.
Lock of the week, J.K. Dobbins finding the end zone against the Giants on Sunday.
Hey, let's do a same-game parlay X for this one, Troy, because I like the Ravens team total over 25.5 points. That comes out at minus 115. Lock it in. Build a parlay. Evander Kane goal on Saturday, and the same-game parlay X. Thank God they allow us to do that now. Dobbins anytime touchdown and the over team total of 25.5 points. This is why I like this, too. Only 7 times in NFL history has a team returned from Europe without a bye week. Every one of those teams was tied or trailing in the fourth quarter the following week, with opponent team totals going 6-1 to the over. That's why I like the Ravens against the Giants.
I love it.
There it is. And
awesome.
Hey, maybe.
Nice
What do you think? Should we get cute? Should we get cute here instead of just doing those 3 since we chose the same game? Should we throw in maybe like a rushing touchdown for Eno Benjamin here?
Whoa. You got to pick, dude. Come on, man.
All right, he's making me pick, even though the Seahawks are the worst rushing defense in the league. I will stick with the 25.5 points because that's what we locked in. That was our build a parlay. All I'm saying is we could have gotten cute if we wanted to, right? We're degenerates.
I guess you could have told Bailey to pick Eno.
Yeah, I could have.
Do it on your own account.
Yeah, I'll add it to mine, and we'll all cash money in the big one, and then I'll cash even more in the bigger one, right?
Exactly.
That's the only way it works. I can't lose. Yeah, there's no way I can lose. That's not how betting works.
Sí, señor. Sí, señor. Sí, señor.
And then I'll do a same game with mine and get cute and put McDavid 1.5.
Yeah, and then Troy will do one and get cute too, and we'll come back. He'll put McKinnon in.
There we go. We'll just be super cute this weekend.
Yeah, we're always cute.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be back in St. Louis, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'll be in Chicago.
Yep, naturally. All my friends go home. Troy's the only one that's always home when I come back to St. Louis. The only person.
You know how it goes, man.
I'm about 50-50. Tim's about 0.
And he's gone too.
Yeah, and you know what? And Troy's lady is the same way. She's gotten better. Emily's gotten
Luckily,
better.
It's her birthday, so she has.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, it's her birthday, so she's in town. And that's why I'm coming into town for Emily's birthday.
Yeah, that's what I told her.
Yeah, that's why I'm coming into town.
Exactly.
Well, we'll let her think what she wants there, and then it'll be a win for me. I told her that once I beat our boy Gavin and Bags, whenever we go to Westport Social, because we are going to be gambling not only on these sporting events that we just talked about, but how about ESPN The Ocho's coming to Westport, and we're getting bags going. And yeah, there it is. Mark Sanchez is on the call, and we are going to take Gavin for everything he owns.
100%.
Everything he owns. That's a great way to look at this show in its entirety. It was a longer show. I had a feeling it was going to go this way, but those are our picks. Make sure to follow along on our journey through these sports bets, especially this weekend. We have a ton of picks from Thursday Night Football and golf and MLB postseason. We made our way into college football, sprinkled in some NHL, and then, of course, the cherry on top, like it is every week, is NFL Sunday and primetime games following on Sunday night and on Monday. For James Merrick, Troy Aldridge, I'm Andrew Rogers. Thank you for joining us on Big Plays, Bad Days, and Parlays.